People often said that this kingdom holds many tales, stories and legends that came before us, shaping this place we call our dear home. One such story is a story that is shrouded in mystery, a tale of the castle's ruin soaked in red. Long ago, when the land was filled with conflict, a ruthless king sat on the throne. A cruel, violent leader, obsessed with war, ruling his people through fear. His Majesty's desire of might and conquest is unopposable. Not a single man in the kingdom had ever raised a voice against his wishes, not even his closest advisors. For those who tried have lost their lives. The obsession continues to dictate the king's decision. Everything must be under the king's rule and nothing will stop the conquest. One day, a joyful message spread throughout the court. "Rejoice! The queen had just conceived His Majesty's heir," the court messenger cried. This news was met with happiness by the people. They hoped that this would change the king, turning his gaze towards the queen and his child, calming his war obsession. Unfortunately, that hope never came true. A couple days later, an informant arrived at the castle, telling the king of a distant land. His advisors were silent. No one, not a single voice raised amongst them. It seems that even the gods wanted his conquest. And so the king decided to take to the battlefield, leaving his consort to chase his glory. The queen was devastated. She felt betrayed, left alone while bearing His Majesty's heir. The king's decision had given rise to a seed of resentment and distrust inside the queen's heart. Then, after many moons, when the king returned from his conquest, what he was greeted with was silence. Upon reaching the queen's room, the chamberlain stands in front, bowing to the king, and opens the door. Inside the room is the queen quietly resting on the bed, cradling their twin daughters. The king was taken aback. He went to take a closer look, and before him, his children opened their eyes. They stared at the king ominously, with a distinct pattern ordained on their eyes. Was it distrust? Was it fear? Was it anger that the royal couple felt that day? No one knew what would be of the twin princess in the future, not even themselves. The mystery behind the peculiar eyes of the twin princess had turned into rumors, filled with occult beliefs, and divided the palace. The soldiers said that the eyes are a symbol of His Majesty's might, a blessing from the gods above, while the caretakers silently whispered among themselves, calling it a curse of the king's cruelty, a warning from the heavens through the queen. The twins' personality was also known to be peculiar. The youngest was said to be curious and quick to learn, always smiling in the presence of her dear father, admiring his might and following his cruelty. His Majesty believes that she will be a ruler worthy of his glory and takes her to continue his desire, while the oldest was reserved, talented, and few in words, always beside her dear mother, learning and inheriting her resentment towards the king. The belief surrounding the twin princess became the reason for the court's divide. They were adrift, swayed, manipulated by their parents, a pawn of the king and the queen's ideals, and a symbol of the kingdom's very future. The king's obsession persists through his young prodigy. In the time his body withered and devoured by illness, his daughter wages war. Her followers had begun to execute anyone not loyal to the youngest princess. The queen secluded herself silently, waiting for the right time through the turmoil. Her daughter has become her vengeful blade, stopping every attempt at her mother's life and carrying out her vengeance. After many years, tension inside the royal palace had finally cracked. Whispers became insults, rumors became twisted truths. What remained of the royal court had entirely crumbled, lost in a delusion of power and pools of blood. The people spurred by the Queen's caretakers, had enough of the fear, taking to the streets, marching towards the stone walls of the castle to destroy the mighty symbol of their ruler. Shouts of anger can be heard outside of the burning castle. The metal gates, the staircases, the glorious statues, all broken and destroyed. Pools of blood littered across the hallways and chambers. The entirety of the royal court had been massacred, leaving behind the twin princess, served in red.